I call upon the spirit of the owl, messenger of wisdom. Welcome to the temple of the owl. Merry meet seekers of knowledge, for I am Matt's owl, your guide and your host. I hope everyone's having a blessed, enchanted day. I'm sending out some positivity your way if you guys need it, and know that you can overcome anything that you are going through right now. I know you guys can do it. Just stay positive and stay in the zone, and I know you guys got it. So thank you guys. Thank you guys for listening. Special thank you for those listening on the Troubled Minds Radio Network. That's KUAP Digital Broadcasting. Check out troubledminds.org, and shout out to all my Troubled Minds fam and friends listening. Thank you guys for the support. Here at the Temple of the Owl, in the depths of the forests of Northern California. As always, these are just musings shared within these hollowed walls. They're just seeds of thought, offerings to inspire you and know the magic that dwells within you. So you see, this is all just ideas, just ways to make you guys think about things differently, and just trying to live a magical life. So I just want to thank you guys for listening. And so today we're going to talk about one of my teachers that taught me, and his name is Raymond Buckland. And usually I start the show with a quote called the MOD, or the message of the day. It's a little quote that I find that helps me start the show topic. And today's quote is, "Don't see a thing working, see it finished." And that's from Raymond Buckland. And I like that because it sums up witchcraft so beautifully, and it helps us understand that our affirmations and how staying positive and focused, we can accomplish our goals. When we say "so mute it be" at the end of our spells, it means it is so, or it is done. And this is how the spell works. If we see it as already done and our mission completed, then we wait for the universe to catch up to our goal, however it works. And I like that, just that little quote there from him. It kind of makes me think about how, your thoughts control everything. Now, Raymond Buckland, he taught me a lot about witchcraft, and so I wanted to do this show to try to capture his achievements, his accomplishments, and help kind of memorialize him as one of the greatest teachers of witchcraft. So let's discuss some of the things he taught me, and he continues to teach witches around the world, new and old. So if you've never heard of him, cool, you guys get to hear a little bit about this guy. If you are familiar with him and his works, maybe you guys will learn something new. But I just want to talk about him and just, like I said, talk about how he's taught me and how his books are really good books to read. So Raymond Buckland, let's talk about him. Raymond Buckland was a predominant figure in the modern witchcraft and Wicca community. His name was Robot. There were some key points about Raymond Buckland. He was born on August 31st, 1934 in London, England. Buckland developed an early interest in the occult and esoteric subjects. Buckland immigrated from England to the United States in 1962. His move played a pivotal role in spreading the established Wicca in the U.S. In the early 1960s, Buckland became one of the first people initiated into Gardnerian Wicca in the United States by Lady Olwen, the High Priestess of the Long Island Coven. He met his wife, Rosemary. From 1957 to 1959, he served in the Royal Air Force. He became friends with Gerald Gardner, another influential character in Wiccan history. Gardner gave him insights to the craft. Now, Gardner died shortly after Buckland was initiated into the coven. The Bucklands returned to the United States and brought a book of shadows from Gerald Gardner with him. They grew the coven and initiated new students into the craft. In 1973, they both left the coven. In 1968, Buckland formed the first Museum of Witchcraft and Magic in the United States, as influenced by Gardner's Museum of Witchcraft and Magic. It started off as by appointment only policy museum in his own basement. After his collection of artifacts grew, he moved the museum to a 19th century house in Bay Shore. The museum received some media attention, and a documentary was produced about it. In 1973, following the separation from his wife, Buckland moved his museum to West Beach in New Hampshire. In 1978, he moved to Virginia, disbanded the museum, and put all of his artifacts into storage. In 2008, the artifacts of the museum were housed and entrusted to the care of the Covenant of the Pentecostal Wiccan Church, based in New Orleans, Louisiana, and led by Archpriestess Reverend Valvet Rife. After a period of neglect and mismanagement of the previous curator, Reverend Valvet, along with many members of her church, were able to begin the restoration process. In 2015, the artifacts were turned over to the Temple of Sacrifice, a coven based in Columbus, Ohio, founded by Raymond Buckland and Kat Tigner of the TOS, in the museum collection's current owner. The Buckland Museum of Witchcraft and Magic is currently being displayed in Cleveland, Ohio. Beyond Wicca, Buckland had an eclectic range of interests in the occult. He explored topics such as rune magic, candle magic, and divination, and he authored books on these subjects. Buckland was a prolific author, contributing significantly to the literature on witchcraft and Wicca. Apart from his influential work in Wicca, Buckland wrote extensively on a wide range of occult topics. His books cover subjects such as divination, folklore, and various forms of magic. His most famous work is Buckland's Complete Book of Witchcraft, published in 1986. This book is often considered a classic and is used as a guide for those interested in learning about Wicca. Buckland had a broad interest in the occult, and his writings reflect a diversity of topics. He explored subjects like numerology, ceremonial magic, and even extraterrestrial life. Buckland was an accomplished rune master and wrote about the use of runes in divination and magic in his book, Practical Rune Casting. It provides insights into the use of runes for both beginners and advanced practitioners. He wrote many books, fiction and nonfiction. Here are just some of the books he wrote: A Pocket Guide to the Supernatural, Practical Candle Burning Rituals, Witchcraft, Ancient and Modern, Witchcraft from the Inside, Origins of the Fastest Growing Religions, a Movement in America, Amazing Secrets of the Psychic World, the Buckland Gypsy Fortune Telling Deck. Now, one of my favorite books, and this book is attributed to one of the first books that really got me into witchcraft. It's called The Complete Book of Witchcraft. Now, this book has a lot of information for beginner witches, and it also teaches us like the basics of witchcraft, and it has a homework section that gives you questions to answer in the back of the book. And all in all, it's a fantastic book for a beginner witch. Also has a lot of information that I still use today. I read the book when I was a young seeker of the craft, and I highly recommend it for anyone that's beginning or learning the craft. Now, another book I recommend by his is the Book of Spirit Communication. Now, this book has taught me a lot about how spirit communication works. It teaches you how to use different tools to communicate with the dead. And it teaches the history and the stories of the people who have come before us. Now, Buckland later developed his own tradition of Wicca called Sail Wicca, which emphasizes self-initiation, and it's less formalized than Gardnerian Wicca. The Sail Wicca tradition gained popularity for its accessibility and emphasis on solitary practice. Buckland played a role in introducing and popularizing Wicca in the United States through his writing, lecturing, and teaching, in addition to his written works. Buckland was actively involved in teaching and lecturing about witchcraft, Wicca, and occultism. He founded the Buckland Gallery of Witchcraft and Magic in New York, the one that later moved to Cleveland, Ohio. The gallery aimed to educate the public about witchcraft and occult traditions. Raymond Buckland made appearances on various television programs and documentaries, contributing to the public understanding of witchcraft. He was featured in the 1989 documentary American Harvest and in the 1991 television series Speak of the Devil. Now, Buckland made appearances on television programs contributing to the public understanding of witchcraft. His willingness to engage the media helped demystify Wicca for a broader audience. He founded the museum as a way to preserve and showcase the history of witchcraft. In his later years, Buckland continued to write and teach, contributing to the growing body of literature on Wicca and the occult. Beyond his role as an author, Buckland was committed to educating the public about the occult. The Buckland Museum of Witchcraft continues to serve as an educational resource for those interested in the history of witchcraft. Buckland's leadership extended beyond his own tradition. He played a role in the broader pagan community and was involved in various organizations, contributing to the development and the visibility of contemporary pagan and witchcraft movements. He passed away on September 27, 2017, leaving behind a legacy as a pioneering figure in the modern witchcraft movement. Raymond Buckland's impact on the spread of Wicca and witchcraft in the United States is significant because his approach to Wicca and witchcraft was practical and down to earth. His emphasis on the self-initiation reflects more accessible and individualized approach to the craft. He encouraged individuals to adapt and modify practices to suit their own needs and circumstances. His accessible writing style and contributions to the development of new traditions like Sail Wicca continued to influence practitioners and seekers interested into the craft. His books contributed to a broader cultural understanding of the craft, helping to dispel myths and misconceptions. Buckland's multifaceted contributions to the occult, his dedication to education, and his accessible approach to spirituality have left a lasting impact on the contemporary pagan and witchcraft movements. And he has guided me and helped me along my path in witchcraft. And as I learn, and I want to share these things and understanding like the people that came before us, it's important. And so we say we're standing on the shoulders of giants. Now, I've read several of his books, and they have taught me a lot. Now, one of the first books I read, like I said, the complete book of Witchcraft, it's a blue book. And I take a lot of those teachings with me as I grow and as I learn. And in the back of the book, there's these questions that you can fill out. And I filled them out when I first started. And years later, I look back and I like to see how much I've grown. And of course, I said before, the Spirit Communication book, it's a red book. And that's where we learn about like seances, the old way of communicating with spirits. A very good book for people learning about mediumship or other ways to talking like spirit within and without. And we learn about table tipping and the origins of where this all came from, and the seances of the old, when they did table tipping and people got together and did seances back in the day. And I think he really took that and made it easy for people like me to understand how and why it worked. And let's see, anything else on this guy? I just want to say, I want to thank him for being a teacher, being, like I said, one of the first books that I started reading. And that's why I kind of wanted to do this show, talk about how he's touched me, how he's helped me learn this kind of stuff, and how he put it all together in these books. And one of the first books in my library that I really I read it several times and keep going back to it, keep rereading it, because there's a lot of information there, and it's kind of like, I like it how it's the original. It's like the first. He basically is credited as the guy that brought that kind of information over here from Europe. And I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that fact that we have the opportunity to learn this stuff and learn these old ways. And just kind of rambling on here about Raymond Buckland and seeing how he's impacted the occult, and how he's impacted modern traditions and made it easier for people like us to practice these things and understand them. And without him, like you said, he's like a pioneer. And without him, I don't think we would be here. I don't think we would be able to have this kind of information, this kind of path that we can go down, and not be afraid, because of people like him that have started it all, and that brought it to us, and that brought it to everyone's attention. So anyways, if you guys are just not hearing about him for the first time, I hope you guys can look him up, research him, maybe read some of his books. I do recommend those two books, the red book and that blue book, to read as like reading material, as kind of like a 101 if you guys want to get into it. And also, there's a lot of different kinds of information there, but I really wanted to just kind of talk about him and what he's done. So I want to thank you guys for listening. And anything you guys know about Raymond Buckland, if you have stories about him, or if you know who he is, or you don't know who he is and interested, look him up. But if anyone has anything to say, let me know in the comments what you guys think. Do you guys like these kind of shows? Should I keep doing these? There's a lot of people out there that have influenced me over the years and have brought this kind of stuff to light. And I called it the world of witches, and I wanted to call it the world of witches as kind of out of respect for, like I said, the people that have come before us and that have helped teach and helped to grow this movement, and help people understand that, like what this show's all about. This show's all about breaking those stereotypes that witchcraft is evil, or that all these bad things that come along with the stereotype of witchcraft. And I think him, like I said, doing the things he did is what helped me kind of break out of that shell, and not want to hide it anymore, and want to talk about these things and want to explore it with you guys. And so, like I said, I like to thank him, thank everyone that came before me, and especially these authors, these people that have put it out there for the rest of us. And so you got people like Gerald Gardner. We can talk about him. We talked about Laura Cabot. There's a lot of other influencers, other people out there that have written books on the witchcraft and have helped. And so it's important that we go back and talk about these people and remember them and share the stories and share their books for that people can read these books. And another part of what the Temple of the Owl is all about is collecting these books so that we have them. So we have them to look at in case anything happens. We could preserve them. And that's kind of what this show's all about, is preserving the knowledge, keeping it, and sharing it with people and talking about it. And so I really want to thank you guys. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for listening. If you're listening on the Troubled Minds Radio Network, that's KUAP, Digital Broadcasting. And thank you guys for listening on all the other places. We got more shows coming up. So just want to say thank you. And we're out of time. This is Matt Sal. Thank you guys for journeying with me through the Temple of the Owl on the frequencies of the Troubled Minds Radio Network, KUAP, Digital Broadcasting. Blessed be. So until next time, keep your light steady, your spirit grounded, and your energy right. This is Matt Sal. Release the spirit of the owl. Thank you guys. Have a great day.
For many centuries, witchcraft has been considered evil, associated with the devil and all things dark. Let's break these stereotypes with your host, Matt Sal, of the Temple of the Owl. Let's talk about magic, of the old ways, explore the many roles of the witch, including the tools of the craft, the history of the science behind this ancient earth-based religion.